Hi guys, thanks for tuning in today. Today here I have a fuel tank. This is out of 58 Beetle. I was having issues with it starting up, revving up, and then immediately dying. So this is what it was doing. Choke it. Choke it a little more. Wants to go. Well, it sort of started. So obvious carburetor issues. So that's what it was doing. It was starting up, revving way up with the choke on, and then immediately dying. Even if you push the choke in or no choke, it would just rev up and die. So I knew there was something wrong with the fuel system somewhere. Either fuel pump, bad gas, carburetor plugged up, something was wrong. So what I did was pull the gas tank, and I also pulled the carburetor. So now that I got the gas tank and the carburetor down at the shop, you can take a good look at it. And what now I remember I did on this tank is there needed a new, this is the fuel valve here that controls the on, off, and reserve. And I had to weld a new one in here. So when I did that, due to the welding, I thought I'd seal it with a sealer. And what I used is this red coat fuel tank liner. And what happened was that gas that was sitting in there ate away at that liner. So I don't know if there was an ethanol gas that was in there. Usually I don't put ethanol gas in my Beetles, but it could have been. So I don't know if that must have ate away at that liner, because it turned it into almost like a transmission fluid and just about as thick. It was a thick, gummy kind of a liquid, and I think that went through the system, gummed up the carburetor, and that was our issue. It plugged up the pilot jet in the carburetor, I'm sure. I'll get you in here. I can show you that liner. It still looks good, and I assume if this car gets regular use now that it's close to being done, that it'd probably be okay. It did sit quite a long time, you know, at least a year, so that could have been the problem. If it gets recirculated through use and refills, I think it'd be okay. I don't know, we'll keep an eye on it. If it plugs up again, we'll have to either try to strip it somehow or just replace this tank. It's been welded on, and that it's kind of an old tank anyway. So we'll replace it if we have to. Otherwise, it should be good to go. I'll try to get you in there and show you what that liner looks like. It is a nice, uniform, pretty thin coat. There are some little sags in the liner, or runs, you can see, but not too bad. All in all, it's pretty evenly coated. It should work. I'm not sure what the problem is, if this is just not as good as the other Pour 15 liners, or I think Eastwood might sell a liner. But if you have any ideas on what worked for you, put it in the comments. Or if you've had any trouble with this at all, put that in the comments, and how to possibly remove it if I have to. But I'm hoping that it was just because that sat so long, and possibly the ethanol gas. So first thing is, this has all been flushed out now. We'll put the valve back on, and then we'll go through the carburetor quick and get this all together, back on the car, and hopefully it starts up, runs, and we can maybe take it for a little spin around the yard. I don't have license plates on it yet, so we're kind of limited to how far we can go without getting in trouble. So we're going to work on putting the fuel valve in. The first thing we want to do is make sure that this is turned to the reserve, because when we start it up, we're only going to have a couple gallons in there, so we want to make sure it's on reserve. Basically, in the car is a lever. This goes through the firewall, and it goes onto here, and a cotter pin goes through there. I'll just use a screw for demonstration here, and it goes either regular or reserve, but we'll make sure it is flowing through by putting just some carburetor cleaner through it, and make sure it comes out here. So that there is set to the main, and halfway over. This should be reserve now, which is the shorter one. And that came out. So we know it's set to reserve when it's like this. So the first thing that goes on here is going to be a small screen that covers the inlets like that. A fiber washer goes on there, and what I like to use is a little bit of a gasket compound. This is called Curel T. I have a little bit left in this tube. Curel T2 actually, and it never dries. It stays. It's not really anaerobic. It actually will stay liquid, it never completely dries, so it's easy to remove stuff. I use it all the time on gaskets that you might want to remove. It works really well. And I've had this leak before and took it apart, put the Curel T on here, and it stopped the leak. So that's the first thing that goes on there with the gasket. I've also used that on rubber seals. It's really good on pushrod tube seals. If you ever have trouble with that leaking, I use this. Works great. So we have fiber washer, the screen, and now the valve goes on with another fiber washer. So we're going to put a little Curel T on that. And that can go on here. You want to make sure these threads are clean and you don't cross thread it. And this is the side of the gas tank that faces to the firewall here, away from the filler neck. The filler neck goes towards the front of the car. So you want to make sure, because this lever comes in from the firewall, so you want to position this direction. And that should be good to go. So we'll go and install it on the car. Okay, so here's the carburetor. We just cleaned it up quick in the ultrasonic cleaner, cleaned all the insides out. Just put the same linkage on. There's one replated piece on here, but the rest I just left. This will be good for that car. It should work good as new. There's a new diaphragm in here. New gasket. So it should be good to go. We'll go install this, and hopefully that fixes our problems. Here's the two cable clamps, throttle cable, and then this little guy's for the choke cable. And this here's the vacuum line. It gets hooked up right here, but it needs a fitting which is missing, so I'll gotta grab one of those. So here's the vacuum fitting going in. Small fiber washer on the end of it. This would have been much easier to do the carburetor off. It's all set. See if it starts. Okay, so we got 2 gallons of ethanol-free gas going in, siphoned out of the neighbor's truck. Start with a little over half of it. Make sure it's not leaking. Alright, we'll give it a try, see if we have enough juice in the battery. It'll take a little while to fill the carburetor bowl. Hopefully that fuel pump's not gummed up. Well, it seems to be running. So I guess we needed the full 2 gallons. Okay, so the car's been sitting for 2 days, and I have this. This is an oil transfer pump for oil samples. So we'll pump some gas out and see if it's turning red at all. So there it is. It's not red at all. Completely clear or gas colored. No red tint. So 2 days didn't do anything. So I think it might have been just because it sat so long in there. And like I say, now that the car's going to get some use, the gas will get recirculated through there. So I think we'll be okay. We'll keep an eye on it. We'll test it every now and then. So there you have it. It's running pretty good. Got the fuel system sorted at least for now. I'm not sure how long that red coat is going to last on there. If any of you have had any information or any experience using that red coat, leave it in the comments, or any ideas on how to remove it, because I have a feeling I'm going to have to remove it. But for now, this car is almost done. I have a few things to do yet on the interior, and then it'll get fuel flushing through it. It won't just be sitting in there. And I notice a little bit of a leak here on the outlet of the fuel pump. That's a new fitting there, so it probably just needs to be tightened up. We'll take a look at that. So other than that, it should be all set. Thanks a lot for watching. Please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and we'll see you next time.